Hi guys, welcome to Little Wicket Railway. I'm Rob, and in this video we're looking at the Hornby Belmond British Pullman train pack. This is Hornby reference R3750 and it's got a retail price of £299, which is obviously very expensive. However, I got this from Burr Valley Models for £225 and I'll be interested to see whether that makes this good value or not. As you might know, I'm normally more of a steam kind of guy, and this has got a diesel electric in it. But there's something pretty special about this train pack, and with the Pullmans it's got that 1920s feel to it, so I thought I'd give it a go. The British Pullman operates out of London, Victoria and does day and weekend trips around the UK, and it's also the first part of your journey if you're going on the Orient Express from London. Two Class 67s provide the power, 67021 and 67024, and although they're owned by DB Cargo, they've been given the Pullman livery to make them fit in with the rest of the train. And this train is pure luxury. A ticket will set you back a few £100s, which is roughly the same cost as this train pack. So it'll be interesting to see whether I would rather have spent my money on this or a ticket on the real thing. Right, so let's get this open, take a look and see what we've got.
Here we are. So we've got this big picture on the front and some information down below. So let's turn it over and have a look at the back. So we've got the same picture here, and in the bottom right hand corner it says we're DCC ready, and we've got a minimum radius here of 438mm, which is second radius. Okay, so let's get this open up. I really don't like these cardboard flaps. You have to be really careful you don't break them, but let's slide this out. I like the way the box has got the same colour as the Pullman branding. That's a nice touch. I think there's something else in here. Yeah, it's the instruction booklet. Let's try and get that out. Come on. Okay, here we go. So let's start by having a quick look at what we've got. We've got the Class 67 here at the top, a very weighty model, so that's a good sign. And then we've got the three Pullman coaches below, so Lucille, Xena and Ione. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the instruction manual. So a bit of general stuff on there, some figures here about how to take the bodywork off, and some safety information at the back. We've got some alternative couplings for the coaches down the side. Okay, let's take a closer look at the loco. So in the block of ice, so let's slide that off. We've got a details pack up here at the top. So let's have a quick look at that. I think most of these parts are for if you want to have it as a static model. So I probably won't be fitting these, but lots of bits of detail in there to be fitted if you wanted to. Put that to one side. Okay, let's get it out. And it's already a pretty impressive model. I just think it looks really nice. As I said, it's really heavy, a lot of weight to this, which I'm hoping means that it runs really smoothly. So what I'll do is go take some photos and we can have a closer look. Let's start with appearance. It's in the Pullman colours, the paintwork is really nice, and it's got the large Pullman logo on the side. We've also got the crest by the doors above the running number, which on this model is 67021. As well as this, we've got loads of other little bits of printing, such as the DB logo and various safety notices. The level of detail is really impressive. We've got the tiny windscreen wipers, small bits of pipework, highlighted railings and the see-through grills around the engine. As you would expect on a model of this standard, we've got the sprung buffers and the neat narrow couplings. Not much to say about the glazing, but it's there and it seems secure. The bodywork is plastic, but large parts of this model are metal, and that's what gives it its weight. On either end we've got working lights, and I'll show you those on the rolling road shortly. Underneath there's a switch to turn the lights from day running to night running. They obviously didn't want the switch to be obvious, but underneath the loco is pretty inconvenient if you want to switch during a running session. In the compartment next to this switch is space for a speaker, and I fitted the Hornby TTS sound decoder. It's not a straightforward job fitting that decoder, and I've made a video showing you how to do it, and I'll put the link in the description if you want to watch that. We've got 4 wheels on either bogie and they all have pickups, and they're all driven, which combined with the weight gives this loco excellent traction and reliability. If you like the look of this loco but you didn't want to buy the full train pack, maybe you've already got some Pullmans, then you can pick this up separately. It's got a recommended retail price of £159.99, but you can find it online for around about £120. So now I'm going to put this on the rolling road so I can see what the lights look like. So we've got lights on either end and they look really good. You can turn them on and off using function 0 on the controller. The only frustrating thing is you can't switch from day or night mode using the controller or the functions on the decoder. You have to use the switch under the locomotive. The locomotive is smart enough to know whether it's going forwards or backwards, and if I change the direction of the locomotive on the controller, you'll see that the lights change from white to red. So that's pretty clever. Now let's take a look at the coaches. We've got 3 coaches in the pack: Ione, Xena and Lucille. As a bit of history on the full-size versions, they were all manufactured in 1928 and are of all steel construction. Ione and Xena were ordered by the Great Western Railway as part of their first ever order of 7 Pullman coaches, whereas Lucille was ordered by the LNER for their Queen of Scots service. Then during British Rail days they moved around the regions on different services before they all eventually ended their mainline service and went to heritage railways and museums. Then in the 80s they were all purchased by Belmond, refurbished and are now back in service. But back to the models, and these are really impressive. Individually these retail for between £50 and £60, so the pack contains around £150 worth of coaches, and for that price we can expect to get some quality rolling stock. All the coaches are in the Pullman branding with the coach names in the centre on the sides and the crests at either end. There's fine paintwork and narrow borders around the windows and the doors. Not only do we have the main window glazing, but we've also got the oval windows with the intricate framework and the additional windows at either end of the coach. Detail around the doors includes separately fitted railings, a lamp above the entrance and highlighted door handles. The ends of the coaches have moulded connecting doors and pipework. All the coaches have sprung buffers and narrow couplings and come with the optional close couplings that can be fitted. The roof has moulded features including vents. The interior has curtains at each window, dark seating with moulded details and table lamps that actually light up. This requires the coaches to have pickups on the axles. The lamps give a subtle warm glow and they don't flicker thanks to a feature that will keep them lit even if briefly disconnected from the track. I thought it might be interesting to compare these versions with the less detailed railroad versions to see where the main differences are. So we've got the detailed version at the top and the railroad version at the bottom, and although I don't think the railroad versions are bad models, it's immediately clear that it's significantly less detailed in almost every area. Keep in mind though that the railroad versions are less than half the price of the detailed versions, so this is probably to be expected. On the railroad versions, the interiors have no curtains, the lamps don't light up, and it's all white plastic. The paintwork and printing on the railroad version isn't as intricate and is actually a lot bolder. You can also see that there aren't as many features around the doors and the windows. The railroad buffers are plastic, it comes with the wider couplings, and there aren't as many additional pieces moulded to the frame or around the coach ends. So put side by side you can really appreciate the quality of the coaches in this pack.
So overall, what do we think of Hornby's Belmond British Pullman train pack? Well, there's no getting away from the fact that this is a pretty expensive train pack. However, the £225 I paid for this works out as significantly better value than buying all the models individually, which I think would come close to £270, so that's a good start. Although I don't think I'll be extending this to the full 11 car set because each additional Pullman coach costs around about £50. But for that money, just like the real thing, you are getting quality. In terms of running performance, this is probably the best model I own. It's super smooth and you've got the 2 powered bogies that give it a lot of pulling power and make it very reliable. The models are all really detailed and the Pullmans are definitely a step up from the railroad versions. I really love the lighting as well. In the coaches it's not too bright and there's no flickering, and on the loco it's smart enough to know whether it's going forwards and backwards, and it's got that daytime and nighttime running mode. The only slightly frustrating thing is that you can't control it using your decoder functions. I think it's fair to say that this is going to look out of place on most people's layouts unless you are modelling London Victoria from 2018 onwards. I think it's more likely to appeal to people like me who don't mind putting historical accuracy and realism aside occasionally just to run something that's pretty unique and interesting. And the pack gets bonus points from me because it's a model of a train that you can actually go and ride on today. And that brings us on to the question, would I rather spend my money on this or a ticket for the real thing? Well, I'm happy with my choice. I'm going to stick with this. I think this is going to bring me hours of entertainment over many years. And unlike the rocket train pack, which was equally as beautiful, but a total nightmare to operate, and for that reason is going to spend most of its life in the box, I can see myself getting this out fairly regularly because it is just so enjoyable to run. As usual, I will leave you with some shots of the Belmond British Pullman running around Little Wicket. If you've enjoyed this video, then please give me a like and a subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you again soon.